still tillering this, and what I like to do in the tillering process is just go pretty slowly with it. I've pretty much finished with the belt sander for now. We've taken the majority of the wood off. There's still more to come off. It's not bending as it should as yet, but we're going to do that with a cabinet scraper and possibly just a sandpaper block so that we don't take too much. The tips have been sort of carved out a little bit more. They are starting to look good. A little bit more work to do on them. And we've still got the long string on here as well. I'll show you how it's looking on the stick. Just put it in there. I think the trick here with tillering is give it exercise, check, see where the wood needs to come off, take a little bit of that wood off, give it some more exercise. This is essentially the way it goes. Now I always do like to make sure that the bore's level at the top, otherwise we can get an inaccurate reading at the tips. Now, that is looking fairly even. There's possibly just a little bit more strength in this limb here. And there is an area here that I was a little concerned about. It just looks like that may go into a hinge if we're not very careful with it. We've marked on the board this area here to indicate that we don't want to take any more wood off there for now. But we are going to take wood off this piece here. This still looks a little stiff. Not right up to the fades though, just a little bit out from the fades we'll take that wood off. And the tips, i.e. the last maybe 8 inches of the bore there, 6 inches, 8 inches, they're still a little stiff, but we'll leave them till last. Just from this section here. It's very easy with this type of bore to overdo it at this section here, where the major reflex is. If you take too much off there, it's going to hinge badly once we get it down to the finished weight. So as it is right now, it's not looking too bad at all. We're down past the brace height, so we'll probably continue this a little while longer until I can maybe get the string down to the 30 mark, and at that point we'll make a string for it. We'll put it back at its brace height, pull it to its brace height, and then look at the actual draw and look at how the limbs are doing once the boar has been braced. But for right now, we're just going to take a little bit more wood off these very slowly, the areas that we've marked, and we're going to continue that until we can get the boar at least another 4-6 inches of bend on it. Okay? Now I have this set up on a workbench, and I just have a piece of scrap wood there to keep it elevated. We can change the elevation on it by shifting the wood. It's just so we can get at it nicely. So we want to make sure that's tightened up, and the cabinet scraper, as we can see, we've got marked here. This is the area where we don't want to take anything off. So from that area down, we're just going to take even swipes, if you will, off the boar with the cabinet scraper. There we go. I'm taking these corners off as well, just a touch as we go. These will eventually be rounded in, so I want to give it the suggestion of that now. I'll take a couple more off there like that. Okay, and we're just going to take a little off the tip, but not past this point here as yet. Seems to be very much this part of the limb which is the stiffest at the moment, so this is very much where we're going to concentrate. That being done, we can flip the boar in the workmate like so, and this limb was just a fraction stiffer than the other one, so we're going to take it off the full length of this limb. But again, just a few swipes with the cabinet scrape at a time, and then we're going to exercise it, we're going to test it, we're going to look at it, we're going to go back and do more of this. This is the tillering process. It's little by little with this type of boar. Another good thing with the cabinet scraper is once we have got it down to the finished work, the finished weight, there's going to be very little work to do to it. Essentially it's just smoothing it off with a finer sandpaper, and it should be just about ready. It leaves a very nice finish, the cabinet scraper. So let's test that again, let's see how that's looking. That's very close to the 28 mark. Yes, that's correct. Both tips here now are even. They're both on this line. They're just beyond this line actually. But both of them are just beyond it to the same degree. So again, it's leveled up and it's looking good. Essentially, at this point, we'll give it a quick weight test. Just zero that off. There we go. We'll see how it's looking on the scales. Down to 26. We've still got a good 45 pound there, and it's still got a long way to go. So the weight's holding up, and it looks like we're going to come in around the 45 pound mark, which is in fact what we were aiming for originally. Still a little more work to do, but it's looking good. It's maintaining its sort of shape, as we can see here. It hasn't taken on too much set. It's set back a touch, obviously, but not too much right now. So all in all, I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to continue this process. It's exactly the same process as I've just shown you here. I'm going to continue that until I can get it to a point where I feel confident about putting its proper string on to brace it. At that point we'll come back to the videoing, I'll show you it braced, and we'll do the very final pieces of tillering with the bow at its braced height. At that point, that all going well, we just have the handle section to carve in, the tips to finish off.